Here now, the reading for today from Paul's letter to the Corinthian church. Hear this counsel Paul offers to that congregation. He writes, "Now there are varieties of gifts, but the same Spirit. And there are varieties of services, but the same Lord. And there are varieties of activities, but it is the same God who activates all of them in everyone. To each is given the manifestation of the Spirit for the common good. To one is given through the Spirit the utterance of wisdom. To another the utterance of knowledge, according to the same Spirit. To another faith by the same Spirit. To another gifts of healing by the one Spirit. To another the working of miracles. To another prophecy. And to another the discernment of spirits. To others various kinds of tongues, and to another the interpretation of tongues. All these activated by one Spirit, and the same Spirit, who allots to each one individually, just as the Spirit chooses. For just as the body is one and has many members, and all the members of the body, though many, are one body, so it is with Christ." This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God.
I'm going to come down in front a little bit because I do need to see the PowerPoint, and I have my laser pointer, so I want to make sure that you see the visuals and find out who the people are and so forth that we'll be talking about this morning. Just a couple announcements. First of all, I am Connie Wyke, your United Methodist missionary, and you can see my little insert in your bulletin, and that gives you a lot of information about myself as well as some things that I will be talking about today. I have just been to annual conference, as Vaughn had mentioned, and Vaughn had also mentioned he was very grateful that he's going to be staying put at least for another 3 years. And I was chuckling a bit because as a United Methodist missionary, I also will be staying put for at least another 3 years. So I'm very grateful for that because I also do not want to move. It's just too much stuff I have accumulated over the years. I'd like to go ahead and begin today, and I'm going to put this back down here, with a prayer, and it is a Chinese prayer. This is how we begin church in China, and the words are 住在香殿中, which means God is in this place. 普天下的人, all people on the earth, 都应当肃静, ought to come before God with 肃静, with reverence or quietness. 住在圣殿中，住在圣殿中，普天下的人，在主面前都应当肃静，肃静，肃静，应当肃静。Amen. And you know the amen at the end means the end of the prayer. It's the same as it is in English. Now, those of you who have heard me speak before know that I always like to share our most important word in Chinese, which is the word for peace. For some of you, this word might be a review because I did teach it 3 years ago, and even 6 years ago, and even 9 years ago. But as a teacher, it's always nice to have a review. And for you new folk, you will be learning this word. And for my old folk, you can feel superior in your knowledge of Chinese language. We're going to have, yes, we have our Ping An up here. Let me go ahead and explain to you that the word for peace comes in 2 parts. We're going to learn both parts and put them together. The first one is this character here, and this is pronounced Ping, Ping. And we're going to work on tones this time because we haven't done that before. So there are 4 tones in Chinese, and this is the Ping. This is the rising tone, as if you're climbing up a mountain. Ping. Please repeat. Ping. Again. Ping. And this character has a meaning, which is equal. Equal. And if you look at the character, you can see it is equal on both sides. That's how I remember it. And then we have the second character, and that character is on, and that is the straight tone. And I tell folks that it's as if you're on a river, and the river is very, very quiet, and there are no waves on that river, and that's the straight tone. On, okay? And this character means safety or tranquility. And if you look at the character, you will see it's a little bit more complicated. We have a roof up here, and then below that, we have the character for woman in Chinese. And if you see her, you can kind of see her. Here's her neck, and her arms are outstretched, and her legs are crossed here, and here's her bottom, and she's sitting on a chair. And I tell people who go to China that, ladies, this is the restaurant or the restroom you want to go into, the one with the woman character on it, and the men, you don't want to go in there. That's not for you. The story behind this character is that when you have one woman under your roof, you have tranquility or you have safety. And there's another Chinese character with the roof and the 3 women under the roof, and that means chaos. But we're not talking about chaos today. We are talking about safety or tranquility. And this character, how is it pronounced? And the meaning, safety or tranquility. And then we just put the two together. Ping an, ping an. And ping an is the meaning of peace in Chinese. This is the word that we use, that when everyone in the world has an equal amount of safety or tranquility, we have peace. And this is how we pass one another God's peace in our Chinese church. So if you will turn to someone next to you, 2 or 3 people, and give them ping an, give them God's peace in Chinese. And this is also how we begin our church services in China. I tell people that you are very welcome to use your ping an in your Chinese restaurants. If you see someone who is a Mandarin speaker, it means a little bit more than the Christian peace. It means peace for your day, peace as you come, peace as you go, peace on your travels. So it's a little bit wider than just the Christian piece. So you're very welcome to use that, and that is your challenge for this summer, to see how many times your ping an can be understood by another individual. Also, as I say ping an, that means it's time for a new picture. So that will reinforce your language study for today. Ping an. Okay, the United Methodist Church, when we send missionaries overseas, we partner with a Christian organization in that country. In China, the Methodist Christian organization that we partner with is what we call the Amity Foundation. In Chinese, 爱的基金会 means the love foundation. In English, we say amity, not to be confused with amnesty. Amity is only in China. It is only for the Chinese people. And it was initiated by Chinese Christians. In fact, here we are, it started in 1985 by Chinese Christians. It is a United Methodist Advance Special. Advance Special are programs that the United Methodist Church sponsors, and we send our money to those many, many programs, and this is one of them. Amity works in all areas of development, social welfare, rural development, health and medical, education, and church-run projects. And these are all run by those within the organization, Christian-founded. Amity is also responsible for the printing of Bibles in China and Christian materials for the Chinese people. And that comes with the Amity printing press. This number is incorrect. It should read 150 million Bibles have been produced by this printing press since it was opened in 1985. Those people who say that we need to be smuggling Bibles into China, no, they're already there. The printing press prints them and has the capacity to print 20 million Bibles a year. So this is a really, really great facility and something that's very exciting, especially for United Methodists to be supporting. Now, the Amity Foundation has foreign teachers that work in the Amity's Education Division. Okay, that would be me. And there are currently, how interestingly enough, over the years, our numbers have dropped quite a bit. And that there is only one Amity teacher now currently in China working with the Amity Foundation. Hello, that's me. There is also only one United Methodist missionary working in China. Hello, there I am. So we are hoping those numbers will increase. So if anyone's interested, see me afterwards and we can talk about that. Come into China to teach. Ping An. This is the map of China, and I work in this area along the Yangtze River. So here's our capital city, Chengdu, and down here, of the province, not the country, and down here is the Yangtze River. Ping An. Here's the Yangtze. This is the view of the Yangtze from my window in my home on the campus of my school. So this is what I see every morning when I get up, or every evening before I go to bed. Ping An. This is the city that I work in. It's called Luzhou. Luzhou. I tell people it's the name of two brothers. One is Lu, one is Zhou. We put it together, Luzhou. Ping An. Luzhou has a population of 3.5 million. Okay, it's not considered tiny by Chinese standards, but it's considered middle-sized. And if you notice here, oh my gosh, there's a McDonald's. You can't escape. Okay, yes, we have a McDonald's in town, but that's about the only so-called foreign restaurant that we have. Ping An. Luzhou Vocational and Technical College is where I teach. Amity teachers always teach in colleges and universities. We don't teach in high schools usually, or junior highs, junior high school. Ping An. This is a 3-year college, which is similar to a junior college. Most of us don't teach in the universities. We teach in vocational schools because they have difficulty getting teachers. Nobody wants to go to a vocational school. Everybody wants to go to the universities because they pay more for teachers. But the Amity Foundation, of course, we are service individuals. They send us to the smaller schools. The school where I teach at is similar to a junior college. We give certificates of study. We do not give diplomas that have degrees. So you won't get a BA degree at our school. You'll get a certificate. It's a vocational school. That means that we train those who will probably be in the mechanic field, perhaps in car repair, or those who will work in factories to repair equipment. We also have individuals who major in management, so they will work in the hotel industry in some form. We also have those who work in the educational field, and those students are those who have majors who will be teachers in the future. They will be English teachers, Chinese teachers, they will be PE teachers, math teachers, art teachers, and so forth. With their 3-year education, they can teach in junior high and below, but not in high school because they need a degree for that. Ping An. We have about 9,000 in our school. Someone asked me what this was. It's an assembly. We don't have the facilities to have a big assembly inside, so we have it outside on the sports field. Even hot, or if it's raining, or sunshine, it doesn't matter. We're all out there on the sports field. Ping An. Dormitory space is very limited for our students. If you notice, there's 8 to a room. They have 8 bunk beds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There is no place for them to put their clothes. They put it at the bottom of their bed or under their bed, and then they have their desks in the middle. These young people are coming from farming families. They are the first in their family to get a higher education. It is a great sacrifice for them sometimes to live in these conditions, but their parents have struggled and worked very hard to pay for their tuition to come to our school so that they can have a better job and a better future. As farmers, some of their parents are illiterate. They cannot read or write Chinese. They also cannot speak Mandarin Chinese. They can speak their local dialect. That means that when they watch television, they don't understand what anybody's saying. So the children often have to translate for them because they are raised in the school system, and of course in the school you learn Mandarin Chinese. So these students are working very, very hard for their higher education. Ping An. We have an English language department. Our English faculty is numbered in 53. We have 53 Chinese teachers. It is mandatory in China for all students, junior high and high school, to have the English language. Every single student has English classes every day. In university, the first-year students, every single one must have English language class. Even if your major is mechanics or management, you have to have the English language at least for 1 year in our college. This is why the English language is so important and why we need 53 Chinese English teachers, because I can't certainly teach 9,000 students English, okay? I mean, that's just too many for one person. So this is one of the reasons why we have so many education majors who are majoring in English. We have about 600 of them, and I teach 350 of them. But this is why we have so many Chinese teachers to teach conversation or grammar and help them out with that. Ping An. However, we do have the 3 foreign teachers at my school. I am the Amity teacher, and we have 2 Peace Corps members with us. Yay! How many of you know Peace Corps folk, or have someone who is in the Peace Corps, or were even in the Peace Corps? Well, they're here. They're with me, so that's very exciting. There are 3 of us, and we teach the English majors, okay? And our Chinese colleagues, they will teach others as well, but there are 3. Ping An. This is me in my classroom. I teach conversation classes. I have first and second and third year English majors. I have about 350 students altogether. Ping An. And one of my favorite things to do is teach my culture classes. I love culture. And this is our Thanksgiving Day class. Here we learn how to set a table, and we also learn about the story of the Pilgrims coming to America and the struggles that they had and how the native peoples helped them to overcome their difficulties and what that day is all about. Ping An. And my favorite one is Christmas. I have more freedom in my Chinese classroom in China to teach about this specific holiday than I ever would in America. And it is so important for my students who will be teachers in the future to understand what this day is all about. Right now in China, when December 1st hits, the whole country explodes in Christmas stuff. They've got Christmas trees, all the cashiers wear their Santa hats, people wear their little snowman pins, and people even go around saying Merry Christmas to each other, even though they have not a clue what it means. They just think that it is the foreigners' holiday, that it is a Western New Year's, and that Santa Claus is our God. And we have lots of Santa Clauses in China, and that is supposed to be the Westerners' God. How horrible it is if my students understand that and go to teach their own students. Oh yeah, I know all about Christmas. My foreign teacher told me about that. Yeah, I think that Santa Claus is the God, and so forth. How ignorant they will appear to all of their students and to others. So I really nail home the Christmas story. We do religious part, and we do also the traditional part. Here's our religious part. We do have a skit that we play, that we reenact. Everybody's name goes into the hat, and we draw for who plays the characters. Sometimes I have a male who is Mary. Sometimes I have a female who is Joseph. And it doesn't matter because everybody knows this story by the time we finish, and we have a lot of fun, and we have props that we do, and we take pictures, and it is just a really wonderful lesson. And they understand fully what it means for Christians on this very special day, and that is so important. Ping An. Then we have an open house. Students come to my home, and they see all of the decorations, and they understand what the crest scene is all about, and it kind of reinforces what we've been doing in the classroom. Ping An. And also, I always invite the teachers to come to my apartment as well. And they cram in, and we have another sharing time that I have with them as well. So this is one part of my job, so-called job in China, is being that of a teacher. But then we have the other part, and that is being a Christian in a predominantly non-Christian country. Ping An. This is the Luzhou Protestant church that I worship in. With my Chinese brothers and sisters. It was built in 1913. This front part, it was built in 1986. That is the newer edition. Ping An. However, here is our edition, here is the original, this is the original sanctuary that we worship in every single Sunday. That was built in 1913. Ping An. Who were the missionaries who founded this church? They were Canadian Methodists. And here they are in 1909. This was a conference that they had. These are the Joliffe brothers, and they came. And this is Anne Joliffe, and she is married to this gentleman here, to John. And they were the founders of our church. And I always wondered who in the world were the descendants of these people. I had not a clue. Ping An. And guess what? They came to the church. Here is the great-grandson, Aaron, and the grandson, Kyle, of the founders of our church. And Kyle had many stories to tell me about remembering Grandma and Grandpa talking about this and so forth. So this is really, really exciting to actually be able to introduce them to this church and be able to introduce them to the family that I have come to know so well in this area of the country. Ping An. This is Pastor Liao, and the gentleman before was Pastor Zhang, and they are married. So we had Pastor Zhang and Pastor Liao. We have 2 pastors and 2 associate pastors. This is Esther. Her English name is Esther. This is Pastor Liao's daughter. And she is currently finishing up her master's degree in America in evangelism. And her ability to come here is partly funded by the United Methodist Church. She did receive a scholarship to help her come here and do that. And she will be returning to Luzhou and help her mother and father in their work in our town. Ping An. Worship and Sunday. Yes, we have a wonderful choir. Ping An. And this is our congregation. We have over 400 in attendance every Sunday, as well as elderly people, as well as young people as well. Ping An. And yes, I love to sing, so I am also in the choir, which I find a great blessing. I love singing. Ping An. And this is our church Christian bookstore that just opened last year, I believe, for the 100th anniversary of the church founding. In the bookstore, you can buy a lot of all kinds of wonderful materials that are in Chinese, made specifically for Christians. So this is a really great place to visit. After you finish worship, you can go and buy some things to bring back with you, bring home with you. Ping An. We have a wonderful outreach. This is the Luzhou, it's called the Gospel Hospital, but actually it's kind of a glorified clinic, really. We don't do operations here. This is an amazing venture. It is a 3-partnership venture between the church, the city government, and the Amity Foundation. All 3 have placed money and time and energy into this facility to be created. In China, people think, oh, everything is free. Healthcare is not free in China. If you want to get medicine, if you want to see a doctor, you pay your money up front. And if you do not have the money to do that, you do not get taken care of. This hospital or this clinic will take in those who cannot pay. And the church will somehow manage to help any individual who walks into this clinic. Ping An. And you can see here are our nurses and doctors singing for Christmas, and they are on a volunteer basis. They work outside in their regular work, and then they also come to the clinic to volunteer their time and energy in helping others. Ping An. Here's our hospital entrance area as well as the beds. We have about over 100 beds with many different rooms. No people in this picture because I didn't want to take a picture of people in the, I didn't want to do that because I thought that was a little bit not so kosher. So, but the clinic is usually filled. Ping An. And here is our outreach van. This van goes out into the countryside to serve those who cannot come to the city. Some of those villages have no doctors, they have no place to get medicine, and the church will help with that. And every time that van goes out, one of the pastors goes with the medical team and prays over the people and shows them Christian love that they would never have experienced otherwise. So it is a wonderful, wonderful outreach for those who live outside of the city. Ping An. And then, of course, we have this one question. Okay, so you're a teacher. I got that. And you're also go to church on Sunday. So where does that missionary part come in? Let me explain that in China, it is illegal for a foreigner to convert a Chinese person to his or her particular faith. Buddhist, Muslim, Christian, it doesn't matter. No matter what faith I am, I cannot convert a Chinese person to that particular religion. I can worship with other Christians who are already Christians. I can go to church. I can have Bible study in my home with other Christians if I want, or in their home if I want. But I cannot convert a non-Christian person to my particular faith. What I can do, however, is I can invite them to come to church. And my brothers and sisters in Christ who are Chinese can proselytize to one another. That is not illegal. So I bring my students to church when they are curious or want to know, or I just invite them. And once they come to the church, I leave it up to Pastor Liao and Pastor Zhang to take over for me, as well as our lay persons, as well as our congregation members. And once my students come into the church, Pastor knows, and after church, she goes right up to them and she hands them a free Bible. And she invites them to come back. And my students are always so excited and really, really feel very moved and touched that some people that they don't even know are handing them this very special gift and are inviting them to come back. And after that, if students have questions about Christianity, I can answer on a personal basis, but I always send them to the Chinese church because these people have the Word of God. They are native Chinese speakers. They can explain things about Christianity that I probably never would be able to do, and it comes from a Chinese face, not a foreigner's face. Now we become a global religion, not a religion that is just the Westerner's religion. And how grateful I am to our missionaries for having done this, planted the seed, and look where it's gone from there. Oh my gosh. And I'm also very grateful to our United Methodist Church for partnering with Chinese Christians in the country and not sneaking in and doing things that might cause others trouble or difficulty. I'm very grateful to be a United Methodist missionary, and I love my church. And I extremely love the support that the Illinois Great Rivers Conference has given me over the many years, and this church especially. I think that I have been coming here, this might be even the 5th time. We only do this every 3 years, these travels, these tours, so to speak. And I'm just so grateful to be here. Before closing, I do want to ask Camilla and Vaughn to come forward. I have a small gift to give your church. It's Pentecost Sunday, so we get a pretty red one. I believe the last 3 years ago I brought an altar cloth. So this time around we're going to do something a little different. This is just a beautiful kind of, it's an embroidery of, and in the middle we have the crane, and the crane is a symbol of longevity or long life. So I like to think of Christianity as going on forever and ever and ever, and that's what it does. So I'm going to present this to your church. I hope you find some place to put this.
We will.
Yes.
Thanks very much. Beautiful. Well, I'll have this. Connie will be in the garden room after the service for you. Have a chance for you to say hello to her and visit. We'll have this on display so you can see that.
And I thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you.
Connie, thank you. What a joy to know about the work of the church in this important part of the world and the way in which the embrace of God is extended through your personality and through your energy. Connie, we thank you for that. Let's continue our worship now with the giving of our morning offering.